Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Yo, what's up, Giants fam? Welcome to the BBO NYG podcast. Off a nice little, we had a nice little bye week. I'm with Jules and John back again. We're trying to make our 100th episode coming up as the draft episode, right? So we got to work it out where our 100th falls on draft night.
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right? I mean, we've taken enough bye weeks. Our affiliate or sister or whatever the hell you parent, whatever the fuck, the Mix It Up podcast.
Yes.
They hit their 100. So congratulations to them. You know what I mean? So like, we want to make us a little crazier. We always get a little crazy on that night. And that's when we've been doing it. We're picking in the inside of the top 10. Those nights have been crazy with guests. I can't imagine what's going to be in store for that fucking Thursday night coming up in April when we pick 20 fucking fifth if we don't trade up. Like, whoop.
Yeah.
Boy, I think I might be calling for work already.
28th is off. It's an off day for me.
Yeah.
Already got it in.
I got the move track. I'm sorry. I was half in, half out there, guys. I apologize.
April 27th, though. That's draft night, right? So
draft night, 100th episode. Yeah, it's crazy that we're going this long now. Yeah, man, we're gonna have a good time, bro. If we get to just happen to work out that way, where we can make a draft night, just gotta move some stuff around a little bit, be a little creative, but it's gonna be fun. We'll have a party. I'll have a couple of drinks.
Of course you will.
There you go.
You're on the wagon. You're on the wagon now. John's drinking. John was on the Mix It Up podcast last week. He came on. He was drinking again. He's on the wagon. So me,
that's it, dude. I'm gonna probably have to take a gummy that night or something, just so I can take his spot. You know what I mean?
Let's see who fucking falls asleep first on this.
Yeah, for real.
I'll be checked out by pick 20.
Listen, I might start the night off with some nice Irish coffees.
That's something. That's
A little
something.
shot, a little coffee, a little espresso, fucking ripping it up, kid. Let's go.
It's crazy. The Thursday night is just round one, right? Thursday night, then Fridays.
I mean, after the last couple of years that we've been doing it, you don't know by now it's just fucking one round. Is it really feel like that? Because we draft fucking third and fourth and fifth and sixth, and then all of a sudden we just hang out for another fucking 28 picks.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, it's a fun weekend, man. Draft. Where is it now? Is it in Vegas this year or no?
I want to say no, because isn't the Super Bowl in Vegas this year?
I think so. I think
the 2024 fucking year or whatever for the Super Bowl is going to be in fucking Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, right? So let's see if the app tells me anything, because I'm on the Giants app for a hot second just to see. No, of course it doesn't say immediately, so I'm going to have to Google it, but whatever. I mean, doesn't matter. It's not in New York. You know what's crazy, guys? Here's one thing I got to comment with that. You remember when this used to be at Radio City every year? Every year. It was that's it. There was no we're going to go here, we're going to go there, get the NFL experience. There was none of that shit. And it wasn't until maybe the last couple of years that they did it at Radio City that it started getting fire. People started going and showing up. I would see lines. I'd see people cutting out of work in suits and whatever else have you, right? And going out and going watching and shit. And then the NFL said, wait a minute, we can market this shit. And they did. And now over the last fucking decade or so, it hasn't even fucking been back in New York. They need to bring that shit back. So, Mr. Goodell, if you're listening, we need this shit back at Radio City, motherfucker. It's time to bring this shit back to home to New York, and that's that, all right? That's all I got to say about the fucking draft and where it's held.
So the boos could be even louder when Giants fans obviously going to boo the pick, whatever it's going to be.
This will do. A lot of them are
louder.
A lot of our fan base is just a bunch of dummies. I tell you, we just boo anything. It's crazy. It really is.
We have an entire section of our show that is dedicated to exactly that. It's that prevalent that we made a segment out of it for 2 years.
For two
years, and almost never didn't have a person to put in it.
I do have a person to go in later, but we're just gonna skip the haters club this week, and I'll save the asshole for next week. So
and I'll comment. You want to comment? Let's get the haters club out of the way right now, since we ain't doing it later. Here's what I got to say, Mike, and I'm not even guessing. You and I get to talk. We didn't say anything. This isn't rehearsed or nothing, right? But I can guarantee it's either about Barkley, Odell Beckham, Daniel Jones, or fucking or what we're going to do in the draft, right? That's it. There's nothing else. So we've covered Daniel Jones through and through. We've gone over Saquon Barkley. We're probably going to bring him up a little bit later in the show. And fucking, what else is there? Did I miss something here? Like, we're all down. And we're going to talk about him later, too. So, you know what? We don't need to hate. It's gonna be a divided thing. Look, I also want to make a really early prediction for the draft this year. I got a feeling because we're picking 25th. Here's where we're really going to see the talent of what Shane has when it comes to drafting and the staff and everyone else involved. Because when you pick, in the top 5, top 10, you better get a fucking stud. All right. You better fucking come across and get the right kind of guy. And there's a couple of things that are still out. Bibbs looks like he's on his way to being a stud. He looks like he'll have even a better second year. But when you got to pick 25th, you better know your shit, man. Because you're not, you're letting 24 of the guys go each round. It's like when you do these fantasy drafts and you pick 12th. Once you start getting deep into that draft, dude, like you're a couple of rounds in, you're starting to get like the 36th best player, the fucking 48th best player. Like, you better be doing your homework there, Mr. Shane. That's all I have to say.
It's coming quick. I'm expecting a wide receiver at that position, man. The more I look into it, it seems like, because late in the first round, the wide receivers are going to go and they're going to go on a streak where it's like almost one after the other. And then I think we're going to get somebody there. I think the center will be like probably like in the second round. I would think. I
agree with you 100%.
There's a lot of centers.
Yeah, it's either going to, in my opinion, I would say it's either going to be wide receiver or cornerback. It's whoever their highest rated player is at either of those two positions. If they feel like he's going to fit, I would even imagine the way they feel like they have this team set up right now, that they might even, I don't want to say reach, but if they have pick 25 and they have a guy ranked as, the 27th ranked pick and they can't get a trade together, they may fucking just slightly overdraft their board just to fill that position, because those two positions are going to be basically what makes or breaks an elite possible season next year.
And look, you know what? I also think too that you're right. I think as far as, because what we're looking to draft is we're looking to draft interior linemen, and it's rare that an interior lineman goes in that first round. He's got to be a stud, standout type guy where that this is a sure hit, Pro Bowl type guy. I mean, I understand we're picking 25th, so you can kind of go for one of those guys a little later on because it's a late first round, early second, they always say for those kind of players. But in this situation here, the way we've been set up, now we're going to get into the whole Dell in a minute, but the way we're set up, it should be either one of the corners or one of the wide receivers. And with that said, I want one of the top 5 guys out of one of those 2 spots, right? So 5 wide receivers are off the board. I don't know if we're grabbing a wide receiver there, and we can go through the list of some of these names.
That's arbitrary, though.
What's that?
That's arbitrary, just top 5. Like,
I know you go back and forth. There's a few
system,
names out there, like I'm in love with that kid Addison out of fucking USC. So look, and he, they go back and forth with him saying that he's number 1, 2, or 3, and whatever. If he's sitting there at 25, we better fucking jump on that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got the size frame. He reminds me almost of like a Devonta Smith. All right, so that's what we'd be bringing to the table with him, and that would definitely like really help fuel this wide receiver core. Obviously, Quentin Johnson, the kid from TCU, he's the big name out there. That's sort of bouncing back and forth with who they think he's going to be number 1. There's a few other guys. Look, I know we were at the pro day, and I don't want to butcher his name. So John, if you want to help me out, the kid from Ohio State that's got like four different first names or whatever.
No.
I know he was big in the mix.
Not going to attempt that.
Yeah. Listen, Josh Downs has been looking really good out of UNC. There are a lot of receivers out there. Have Jalen Hyatt out of fucking Tennessee. I mean, if one of those guys are there, so sorry, it's it's spelled Jaxon Smith and Najiba Nijigba, Nijigba. I'm getting there. It's too bad, right? Someone called Jason, right? Because why not? Smith, right? But like, again, the reason why I got with him, they listed him at 6 foot, but prior to like the combine, he was listed at like 5'11", 5'10". So you know what? Like, how many of these fucking small guys are we going to have on this fucking team? Like, I do not want it. That's why I don't want Zay Flowers out of Boston College. I'm trying to avoid that type of shit. I'm over that. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, you haven't even heard anybody mention anything about Wendell Robinson. Like, what happened to that guy? I know he's hurt, and he might be ready for the start of the season. He might not, but like,
probably
he's
not
even being fucking mentioned as like he's going to be part of the wide receiver core. Yet he was on second round fucking pick last year. So I don't know when it comes to that. Like, I can't sit here and say definitively that we are going wide receiver, but if some of those top guys have somehow slipped down to 25, or maybe 22 or 21, and they're sitting there and we could trade up. Yes, I say we do it. Other than that, I honestly think we're going corner. I would think that that's probably our pick, just because, you know, maybe we don't sign Adoree Jackson because he's a cap casualty, not because we don't want him, but because it becomes that, or if we get some of these younger talent in there to step up. So, you know, it could go a lot of different ways. And then that's the good thing about what I see in this year's draft so far.
Well, it really depends. So, like, you can pay attention on who the Giants have been signing in free agency to try to, like, almost guess and determine that. I mean, we did get a shitload of wide receivers. We signed so many wide receivers to 1 year deal. I mean, that's just showing Jones is like, listen, no matter what, next year, we're not going to go into the season with practice squad players. We're going to have veterans and guys for you that are going to compete for the spot. I mean, the list is pretty crazy. Like Jamison Crowder, like he got signed as a, you know, wide receiver. Tommy Sweeney, tight end from Buffalo.
Isaiah Hodgins is number one. He was re-signed, right? Then they signed Matt Breida, if you want to count him, but they traded for Darren Waller, who's basically the same thing. Re-signed Sterling Shepard. Then they got Jeff Smith, which obviously, okay, whatever. Paris Campbell, which is interesting. Darius Slayton they re-signed, and what's his face? Jamison Crowder.
And listen, Paris Campbell's really interesting because I was kind of hating on him a little bit from a fantasy perspective, because I know people were saying that he was going to step up and be the number 2 behind Michael Pittman there in Indianapolis. And then it was kind of him, you know, mixing around. And I said, no, he wouldn't. But I forgot that he was actually really good at Ohio State. And the only thing that's been plaguing Paris Campbell over the last few seasons is that he's been hurt throughout his NFL career. But when he's healthy, he's actually really good. If he could put together a campaign where he stays healthy for like 14 games this year, he could sneakily slide into being our number 1, number 2 without a problem, and be that kind of a caliber wide receiver where we get Wendell back, who, like I said, is just kind of falling off the map. Like, we don't even talk about him anymore. And with all these other people, what I think is the key would be is Barkley and Waller staying healthy, because if they stay healthy, we have a setup and a makeup very similar to Kansas City, right? With a better running back, maybe not as good of a quarterback, right? Because we're talking about fucking Pat Mahomes compared to Daniel Jones. But we had a better edge at the running back position. And listen, you know what? Waller might not be Travis Kelce, but he could be damn good if he's healthy. And then you have a makeup where you have all these other receivers that are good receivers that could be wide receiver 2, 3s on other teams. And they're filling in and they're running all over the field, which gives them a lot of options. So if one guy goes down, you know, Shepard gets hurt, then Campbell steps in. You know, this guy gets hurt, another guy steps in. And then who's to say we don't take a wide receiver in the 1st and 2nd round coming into this year's draft?
I'm glad
it's that. We have that this year is what I think.
I'm glad Darius Slayton is back as part of like that wide receiver core, because he got that kind of like, you know, continuity with Daniel Jones. And he played pretty good, except like sometimes we just get frustrated with Slay because he drops these easy balls sometimes. We're just like, what the fuck? You know,
and
so
crushing usually. It's usually a touchdown or a big play. It's not like a 4-yard play. Like, he has one of the best like depth of targets of any fucking receiver in the league. He's like top 3 in the league in that category. So when you're talking about throwing the ball that deep and getting drops, that's big plays almost every single time. You know, it's not like Sterling Shepard, who's got a 5-yard depth of target. Okay, it's a good run that he dropped. He dropped. This is a 20-yard play, 25-yard play plus. So his drops are so much more dramatic. At least we can say that they don't get intercepted quite as much as fucking our boy Evan Ingram.
True.
No, you know what I think where Slay reminds you of? It's like, it's almost if the game like slows down in slow motion and you have like time like they do in a montage in a fucking in a thing, and he's like, oh shit, I'm about to catch this ball and be the motherfucking man right now. And he starts thinking about the night. Like, yo, we're going to go out. We're going to party. We're going to pop bottles. I'm going to be the star. And, like, the ball's still in the air. He's still coming down. And all of a sudden, it's like, whoop, right through his hands. You're like, yo, but you dropped it, Dick. I feel like that's what happens to Slayton all the time. I don't know. That's just me.
I agree.
I
agree. Because he has the talent. Like, we've seen him make tremendous plays, over cornerbacks. He's mossed people in the league. He has the ability to do it. So the wide open ones that he should catch, that's easy money right there. The fact that he doesn't catch them, there's got to be just something in like that, like split instant that, he just fucks it up. So maybe the world does slow down just that split second, and it just goes right through his hands. And he probably just hears his heartbeat like boom, boom. It's just like
the whole crowd is silent. He doesn't hear shit. It's not like he's getting like roused by the fans. It's like dead silence. And he's just like, yo, I'm gonna be the motherfucking man tonight. And whoop, drops that shit.
He just needs to dip his hands in some fucking glue or something, man.
It's like he gets so distracted that he forgets he's got to catch the ball still. You know, there's like, oh shit, the ball. It's like too late.
Well, listen, we'll get to criticize him more next year because he's with us for the next couple of years. But
I like Slayton. I'm happy about it.
I think we could all agree that if we get like Shepard back and Wan'Dale Robinson back for the start of the season, that's just sugar on top of the cake. I mean, if that's a saying that I just made, I don't know if that's a saying, but I mean, that'll be great to have those fucking two guys back in time, which would just be fantastic.
Cherry on top.
Cherry on top.
That's better. Like that. Right.
That makes sense.
And there was videos of Colin Johnson also making plays out there, like obviously, you know, coming back healthy from getting injured. And
he's a big dude, right? Colin Johnson?
Yeah.
He's like 6'6", Colin Johnson?
I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a big boy, yeah. He's not one of these.
He's fast for his size.
Jules, compared to our other wide receivers, he looks like Yao Ming.
Oh, yeah. That's probably what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Straight up.
You know, when you put him in the wide receiver room, all of a sudden he comes in, he's got to like duck his head to go through the door and shit.
It's fucking crazy.
Bro, that's what we need, bro.
I hope he plays.
We just need that one guy that, like, it's going to sound crazy, but if we can get a healthy 4 years, like Kenny Galladay's first 4 seasons, if he was healthy throughout the entire 4 seasons, the way he produced, I mean, if you can get that out of a fucking, you know, number 25th pick, you know, and you have the chance of taking the 5th-year option, bro, you know, that's going to complement this team so much. Because you got right now, I mean, you have Saquon Barkley, who obviously no one's going to argue that he's not an elite talent. Darren Waller, if healthy, is another elite talent. And then you have a stable, you know, you're like 8 deep with C+ at minimum caliber wide receivers. So you have a bunch of, you know, B- and Bs and maybe a B+ or 2 hidden in somewhere, but you do have 2 A's and A+, you know, to run the offense through. And then you have the X factor of Daniel Jones. So they're pretty much set up, man. They have an offense that could be scary if with the minds of Kafka and Dable and the players around them, the fact that Daniel Jones is as smart as he is, they could do some damage, bro.
If Waller can stay healthy, he's a big boy, man. He's 6'6", right? Like, that's a big man right there. Like, that's a fucking red zone threat.
You got Gargoyles,
pressure
bro.
off of Barkley. You know what I'm saying?
You got Gargoyles.
Yeah.
6'6", Darren Waller, 6'6", Daniel Bellinger. Sitting on the outside of your fucking offensive line. You got Gargoyles.
Yeah.
That's the title of this episode.
And then you're running the ball with Barkley in the backfield with Daniel Jones. Right. So, like, yeah, all right, cool. Like, that's gonna cause a lot of fucking goal line fucking problems for sure.
With them two blocking alone, not even just a threat of going on like an outside like route or whatever. Those guys blocking on 2 tight end set. Bring back those fucking Gronk and fucking Hernandez days in New England. That shit was dangerous.
With Saquon, Daniel Jones, and probably Matt Breida and fucking whatever. I can't think of the other running back's name.
Brightwell.
Yeah. Gary Brightwell, who I like. And whoever else, you know, they end up getting possibly later on in the draft.
Yeah, you don't know, man. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants don't draft a running back this
year. They got to
get it. We can actually get into that too. I know you guys wanted to talk about Barkley, so you know, I'm saving it for there.
Okay,
we can talk about Barkley every single episode we do this podcast. Just so you know.
Well, there's news
because Mike's dog is fucking named Barkley. That's why.
That's all right. That's another reason. I love that dude. Plus, I was on Barkley as a Penn State fan. That's a dope helmet. John just showed up.
Me too. I know. Me too.
Yeah, I love the fucking guy.
But you know what, Mike? I got over that shit when Carmelo Anthony went to the Knicks. All right. And I was a big Hughes basketball fan. So that was it. He was all right on the Knicks. He was all right. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm used to getting my heart broken with that kind of shit. So I'm over it. Barkley, I can get over it, dude.
This is different, but there's news that came out like the past, like, I guess 24 hours or a couple of days, whatever, that now Joe Shane took the offer, Barkley's extension at $12 million a year, off the table because he waited too long, Barkley, and he's seen the way the other, you know, running back signed in free agency and their values, and see how that kind of like fucking drops. And now Shane is like, listen, nobody else is gonna fucking go after you and give up a pick for you just to sign you, and you're not gonna get paid like that kind of money. I don't like it, to be honest with you. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I hate that NFL teams aren't paying these guys, these running backs, because now you're going to get kids that's going to go to college or high school. They're not going to play the running back position. It's going to be so fucking weak and stupid. They're all going to want to play wide receiver or quarterback, and then you're going to lose that talent at the running back position. It's going to come bite them in the ass. I'm telling you. Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
yeah, I mean, you're probably right about that. I didn't think about it from that standpoint that, the position will be less popular amongst like kids growing up. But I think there's a lot of times that, what a player wants to play is his position growing up and the position he actually plays in the NFL. I would say a fair portion of the time isn't the same position. They probably grow up playing quarterback or whatever positions they were. By the time they got to the NFL, they were safeties and linebackers when they never even played defense their entire careers. Maybe that's more college than NFL as far as like when they made the transition, but it happens all the time. Actually you do. You see players who, play one position in college and then start playing in different positions in the NFL. It happens all the time. So,
you're going to see hybrids now, probably running backs.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of hybrids, right? And Saquon is one of those guys. He is a hybrid where he can catch the ball. He just looks like a running back because he's so fucking tremendous.
Jules, what do you think about that part?
Listen, I mean, the way I felt about this. This is just kind of falling into what I predicted the entire time. That I said that, first I said Saquon wouldn't be back, but then I said if he did come back, I forgot we could throw the NFL franchise tag on him, which we did. Right? So like literally,
that's why we were saying you were crazy.
And here's what's also crazy, right? Let's just say we've been stockpiling all these wide receivers, right? And they're saying, all the experts are saying, that this is a very deep corner draft, right? So you can still get a quality cornerback in the second round. Like that's pretty much the way that this draft is being built this season, right? So that you should be able to, at least in round 2, still grab a good corner, unless it's a top one out there, right? So now you're telling me that they have pulled the fucking deal off the table for Saquon, right? It's off the table.
It's off the table.
And running backs, for the most part, at least the last couple of seasons, haven't gone high in the draft. So if this kid Bijan Robinson somehow falls to number 25, bro, the writing is on the fucking wall. We are taking him. There is no doubt about it. Saquon's playing his last year in New York. That's how I feel.
Wait, can you repeat that last part? I'm sorry.
So we've been stockpiling these wide receivers. There's another ex-Giant wide receiver that we're going to get into in a moment. And we're going to go into a little more detail regarding that. So we're bringing him. We're most likely not going a wide receiver if that becomes the case, right? Okay, that's
so what does it have to do with Saquon?
Well, I'm getting to it. Now, we're in a draft that the so-called experts say is very deep in the cornerback position, meaning that you could probably get some quality corners in rounds 1 and 2 without a doubt. Just like when the wide receivers are deep, they still fall, and you still get some real quality guys in round 2. With that said, if the best running back in the fucking college game coming into this draft, Bijan Robinson from Texas, falls to us at 25, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but the writing is on the wall. We are taking him at number 25, and Saquon's playing in New York for his last fucking season. Plain and fucking simple, passing that motherfucking torch. Good luck elsewhere, my friend.
Can you imagine us say, I mean, listen, if Robinson is the best player at 25, okay, Giants, take him. But can you imagine them actually doing that, taking a running back?
No. Think about that for a hot second. You got one of the best running backs in college coming in.
I wouldn't mind it.
Take it with Saquon. You know how nasty that backfield is going to be this year.
Joe, I agree. Saquon I would love it.
Don't be held limited to 15 carries. Saquon owns the fourth quarter. Saquon's the third down guy, whatever. But you got this young kid that you could just bruise in there and let him bang in and bang in and bang in for a few more times and let him try to shine because he's going to try to upstate Saquon Barkley, which is not going to be an easy task. Dude, that's like asking for fucking, like, that's Christmas almost.
Jules,
you got me guilty for 1 year, but you'd be sacrificing the career of Saquon Barkley to have.
Who cares if we win it?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Super Bowl, yeah, but I mean, even in the best case scenarios, you can't mortgage on one opportunity at a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but look at it this way, right? You'll have that kid signed to a rookie deal. Yes, you did. They cost you a first-round pick. If he really doesn't shine or he busts, you can re-sign Barkley. You're done.
But then
And
you
can
just
keep this kid
wasted
for
a first round pick when you
seasons.
didn't need to.
Yeah, but it doesn't
took a
matter.
high
You still, have
risk,
that,
low
you still
reward.
have that dynamic backfield with that 1-2 punch. You can
but
keep
what are you
Barkley
gaining?
healthy.
All you're
because he doesn't
gaining
have
is
to
a
play
couple
as
of $1 million
much.
on the cap.
What's that?
If you're going to have an elite talent at running back, if the net is an elite talent at running back, one of them in years 2024, 5, 6, and 7, right? If the net is going to be an elite running back, why would, if you could have one in Saquon already, which it's becoming clearer and clearer that we're not going to have to break the bank to keep Saquon Barkley, right? But he wants to stay a Giant. So if he's going to play for less, he's going to play in New York. Hopefully that's how this all plays out. But assuming that it does, let's say he's getting $10, $12 million a year is what his AAV will be and average annual value. Well, if you draft a running back in the first rounds for the first 4 years or 5 years of his career, you're still paying him relatively the same amount of money, minus maybe a couple of $1 million. So you're sacrificing the legacy of Saquon Barkley in a Giants uniform for a couple of $1 million a year cap savings in an era where the cap's going to be jumping by leaps and bounds because of the new television contract they signed.
Dude.
I don't like it. I know Jules just likes it because he could get rid of Barkley. I don't like that. I like it in the fact that if we do draft Robinson, I would love to have those guys like Thunder and Lightning like we used to have back, but for years. I want Barkley signed to an extension, and if they go that, dude, we have 2 sick running backs, 2 sick tight ends that would just, it'd be, and Daniel Jones be able to run the ball. Everybody we'd be running, grinding it out. It would be a nasty fucking offense. I tell you.
Yo, for a minute there, let's go with what Mike's hold on, but let's just go with what Mike's saying right now, right? Philly's been trying to do that for the last couple of seasons. This is the team that's in our division, won our division, beat the shit out of us in December, right? Yeah. And fucking made it to the Super Bowl. What were they doing for the last few years? They had Zach Ertz and they had fucking Goddard, right? Those were their 2 tight ends for a bit. They just got rid of Ertz. Then they brought in 2 wide receivers, fine. But they would go with Miles Sanders and Scott and fucking that other dude, that Gainwell, right? Bro, they've been running that kind of shit at us down our throats, and we know Jalen Hurts can run. I always give him credit for at least being able to run well. That's what they've been doing to us and building that old line. So why the fuck wouldn't we do something similar, right? You guys are all talking about going back to that old school game of pounding the football and doing this and playing defense and running all that kind of shit and building the lines. Yo, this is it. This is perfectly it right here in front of you. If that kid drops, you can keep Barkley another fucking year or 2. You just don't got to give him what he wants. That's it. And then all of a sudden, we're that much deeper of a team. It's crazy.
I'm all in, dude. I'm all in, man. No, I love it. Everything you're saying, I love it. I want in. I want that. Now I want Robinson. That's
Bison.
Chad Powers gonna be tweeting that out. I don't know if Jules noticed the name on his.
I noticed as soon as you did it
right now that I might have. Jules, are you looking at your name? Can you see it?
No, I can't see it.
Oh, that's
really?
AKA Barkley. Yeah.
There it is.
It says boo.
I was like waiting for him to notice that. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, just look at Jules's name I put on for him. All right, guys, you want to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll get into like the whole Odell situation and our defensive signings.
My God.
All right, we'll be right back,
guys.
Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike and Jules. Be right back. All right, we are back on the BBO NYG podcast. I'm Mike. That's Jules. That's Sean. John looks very happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I got some alert that
I'll give you guys some updates. Really quick.
Can you break the news for us?
Well, it's unfortunately not going to really get anybody else excited for themselves. This is more on a personal note, but it's still going to be fun to talk about for 15 seconds. So we booked my bachelor party last night. We're going to Colombia, to Cartagena.
Oh, shit.
Where you going?
Cartagena, Colombia.
Oh, Cartagena. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And my buddy, who's in the Army, he's been to Colombia a bunch of times. He's like, you can rent a yacht there for like a pretty decent price and have like a yacht party. There's like a FCO. Well, I don't know if you guys know about FCO over here. That's a Jersey thing, but where all the boats go and you all party and like the beach and stuff like that. You can rent a 72-foot Viking Power Mega Yacht. 72 feet, bro. I don't know if you can see. Look how ridiculous that is.
Are you rented that? I'm flying in, dude.
Bro,
that looks like that shit from Donnie Brasco.
$3,100. That's it.
For those who never
$3,100, bro.
That looks like the fucking yacht from the movie Donnie Brasco when they pull up and he's like, go to the Starbucks.
Bro.
Yes, I'm Leonardo.
I can't even fucking. If you're watching the YouTube, just know.
Let me.
Dude, I just want to
How
get
much was it again? I'm sorry, I missed that last.
If you guys want to come, we got an 8-bedroom villa. And we have a couple bedrooms to fill.
Nice.
We might have to share one, but
when?
Shit.
May 10th to May 14th.
Oh, damn! Sooner than later. All right.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Fucking Columbia, huh?
That's, yeah. So
if you go to AC, I'm like, yeah, I'm coming down. I'll come down to AC. That's what I'm saying. That's what I would do. But fuck, holy shit. Yeah,
like, we do a weekend over like a separate weekend. So like when we went to a lot of our friends' weddings, like we do like a big destination one, but not everybody can make it. And then you get the other jokers that fucking wanted to just do something. So we then fucking plan a weekend one on top of it. So like Mike's is trying to throw a little hint out there if you want to go down to AC at some point in May.
That I wouldn't be opposed to. Maybe go see a comedy show and then fucking go get fucked up after.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know in July. I think about going.
We'll just do like a BBO NYG, mix it up, fucking Atlantic City weekend. We'll let everybody know when it's gonna happen. That's it.
Yeah, we could do that.
No fucking doubt. I'll hit you up. I'll let you know. Definitely. I think I'm lined up to go there in July with a free room at Borgata. So might have to.
Let's do it, baby. Let's go. Let's do this shit.
Know what I'm saying?
BBO NYG, mix it up.
Might have to go early. Might have to go
like
there.
And subscribe. Don't forget.
Yeah, don't forget to fucking smash that button.
You know what? You smash that button. You let us know that you got like 100 followers. You coming with us too?
We live in large up here, man. Shit. We going on yachts. We're going to Atlantic City. There's no in between.
Something hasn't even started yet. Draft hasn't even started yet.
$3,100, bro. It's like,
yeah.
How much was the yacht though again?
72-foot yacht, bro.
For how long? For how much? For how long?
One day, $3,100.
One day, like the whole day, 12 hours.
I mean, I didn't read. It's just a screenshot.
And bringing some of the Colombian like party favors on there.
I don't know about all that. That's called incriminating. But it's but just for the yacht, for the sake of the yacht. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be windy on the yacht. I don't know that would be something that you can even accomplish. But there's also an indoors because it's a 72-foot fucking yacht. So.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, that part of Colombia is a big like big beach area, party area in that sense.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the yacht's gonna pull up at some fucking place that's like a bar.
That's what I was saying.
A party and that and shit like that. So that should be pretty dope.
Yeah. That's a cool fucking bachelor party move.
Yeah, no, that's sick. That is sick. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll be lucky to get a canoe on the Hudson and shit from fucking guys. All right, so
Might be in a fucking kayak.
Back to Giants land. Sorry about that.
Back to the
with a couple of beers and shit.
All right, I'm fantasizing about like I'm Ricky Schroeder. If I can live in a mansion, I'm going on yachts. All right, so for your young kids, Ricky Schroeder was a guy on Silver Spoons. It was like this little family show back in the day.
I know who Ricky Schroeder is now.
Right, I know, right? Like
I don't know who it is either, bro.
I knew John was like, who the fuck's Ricky Schroeder? So yeah, everybody's like, who's Ricky Schroeder? New wide receiver the Giants are targeting?
Yeah, the Giants just signed him off the practice squad.
Well, I guess apparently it's back on. The rumor we are targeting, possibly, or at least we're talking to him, is Odell Beckham Jr. He's back on the map. He only got offered $4 million a year by some team. It's probably Dallas.
Whoa.
And his market is just completely downhill. I'm not opposed to. Actually, I know I've been back and forth on Odell. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in if he's making less than fucking $4 million. Fucking bring everybody up. Bring everybody in here.
I wonder what kind of potential circus it could be. Like, let's say he is healthy and he has a renaissance season and he's only getting paid $3.5–4 million a year in New York. He's not going to hold the team hostage in some way, shape, or form, whether it be, not directly sitting out, but causing a problem enough where they're going to pay him to shut him up.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Give him a contract, pay him a little more, give him an extension for a year or two, team up, some bullshit that is just going to create unnecessary controversy in a very important year in Giants history.
Listen, you know what? I honestly think this whole this talk is stirring up.
Odell.
Because, I'll be honest with you this much. I think Odell's coming to New York. I really feel like he's coming to New York. So, Mike, if you think about this other team, listen to what I'm saying. He's coming to New York.
The Bills.
I didn't say what team. All right. I didn't say where, but there is a huge rumor going around that if the Aaron Rodgers deal does finally get done, that Aaron Rodgers wants him to come play with him on the Jets. That's part of it, okay? The other part of it is that, yes, he still could possibly end up in the western part of the state and play for the Buffalo Bills and be second to Stephon Diggs, right? That is still a huge possibility because they let go of Isaiah McKenzie. They've been making some room. They've been making guys restructure their contract. So they're looking to do something. I think it's probably more D-Hop in Western New York. But I could absolutely see Odell seriously coming to New York. Now, if somehow, some way, both of those things fall apart. Let's say the Aaron Rodgers deal falls apart because let's face it, we're talking about the fucking Jets and that's just their luck, right? And then over in Western New York, that part of the state, they actually say that maybe they don't want to go with Odell and they get D-Hop. I could then see it being very possible where he comes over and he says, listen, I'll sign with you guys for a 1-year deal for $5 million and let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Or something like along those lines, or a 2-year, 12-year deal, something like $12 million, something like that. I could see it in that scenario. So my prediction is he's coming to New York. And that's why I say it like that. Where in New York, I don't fucking know yet.
I'm gonna guess San Fran, but it's interesting you said like well, what's his name? Hopkins up in Buffalo. That would be a pretty nice little offense with Diggs, him. You know what I mean? I know they got like a running back. I think they just signed somebody up there.
They got Cooks and they got Hines that they signed who fucking, is not bad for pass catching. We'll see if fucking Dalvin Cook's younger brother takes the next step. He's only going to be going into his second year. They drafted him in the second round. That was one of the top running backs from last year. I mean, this is what's going around. That's why I'm saying, like, look, we got to respect the Giants. We respect the way it is and all that kind of stuff. But we're talking about New York and New York football in general. I think the state of New York is going to be better next year. In general, the Jets, the Giants, Buffalo is always going to be right there right now, the way they've been playing. It's going to be a fun year. And part of the reason why I'm bringing that up is because without a doubt, the BBO NYG is going to be fucking representing when we go up to Buffalo this year. So, I just want to see how things fall down when we get up that way. So, what, you might be finding me jumping to a motherfucking table at some point.
You're going, Jules, for the Giants?
I'm definitely going to that game. There's nothing stopping me from going up there.
How far of a ride is it from here?
So if you drive, I think it's about 6 hours. Right. If you took the fucking train, it's about it might be 5, depending on how you drive, where you drive from. If you took the train, it's a little rate
fast.
But you could be bougie, and that's what I'm thinking of doing. But like maybe a $250, $280, you could fly to Buffalo and back. All right. That shit only take you about 2 hours. Huh?
How much did you say it was to fly to Buffalo and back?
So I've been looking up times. I got to figure out what time of the year we're actually fucking playing there first.
Yeah, that's
going to be find that out. I've seen ranges from as low as like 240 round trip to as much as like 300 round trip. To me, I don't give a fuck, man. That's not terrible. I will fucking do that shit.
That's probably an hour and 15-minute flight too.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. 2 hours because you got to drive to the airport.
Yeah, right.
And then what you got to take when you get back from the airport. So it's like a 2-hour total trip. I'm like to be bougie as fuck, drinking on the motherfucking flight and getting off and fucking I'm in Buffalo already. Like, done.
Yeah, I do have a wedding and a honeymoon later this year, so I don't know that there's going to be a possibility of this. Now, I will say this. That game has prime time written all over it, so it could make going to that game either potentially easier or more difficult, depending on when and where it happens. Yeah. But if it lines up schedule-wise, especially if it's like in the winter where it could be fucking go snowboarding first and then like Saturday and go to the game Sunday, you can convince me to go for sure.
My guess is going to be somewhere late October or early November. That's my guess. Yep. Because December's been more of local time, like local teams, not AFC crossovers. Your division pushes us back. It's not going to be around Thanksgiving. So it's going to be sort of in that wheel basket of like mid to late October, early November. That's my prediction. Again, we don't know the schedule yet. But yeah, man, I'm booking that bitch. I'm on a flight. I'm telling you, round trip, hotel, airfare, everything else. You could probably get that for like $500, man.
I just want to go there to make friends with the Bills Mafia people, man. I want to hang out.
You got to get there on Friday, though. You got to get up there early Friday. We got to leave Monday. Like, you know what I'm saying? And turn it into that kind of a weekend experience.
Are we playing the Jets this year too?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Oh, man. So if Aaron Rodgers,
I guess that'll be at home.
We're home?
I don't know who the fuck will be home for that. Yeah,
right. It was an away game. The last time we played them was an away game.
So then it would be our turn.
Damn, I'll be at that home game like that.
Giant home game.
You know? But all right, yeah, getting back to the old Dell thing. Sorry, I got so sidetracked. Yes, I do think that is what the stance is as far as him coming in and playing for teams. As far as I'm concerned, I think a lot of the fan base gets caught up in what he's done, in the past. In reality, he hasn't played a full season or at least a substantial amount of a season since 2019. We're going into 2023. Okay. You got to keep that in mind. It's been 3 years removed since he's actually done something like that. So I just don't know how much you're going to get from him. That's the other concern. So if you could get him at a bargain, when you get him at a discount for cheap, like $4 or $5 million for the year, and we bring him in and he really wants to come in and play with us for that amount, I'm in. If he's thinking he's going to get in the range of 10, 11 or something like that, it's just not fitting our budget this year. It doesn't matter. And then that just goes back to if we get Odell and then we could draft fucking Bijan. Oh, shit. Look at that offense.
Be exciting. I'm kind of on board with that now, too.
Bijan.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So we'll wrap it up with some defensive signings.
Yep.
All right. So, Jihad Ward's back. That was a no-brainer. He was coming back.
Absolutely.
Bobby McCain, safety we got from Washington. I know a lot of people making fun of him because he gets beat deep sometimes, but you got to take into account some of those whack-ass safeties that the Washington team had too. Not having his back, I think we're better prepared in the back.
Don't forget, he's probably going to fit into the Julian Love role. So we're not going to really have to have him worrying about playing up top. I think he's going to come more into that type of a player because that's what we're missing there, right? And then, you hope that certain guys take the next step. So I think it's a good, solid depth piece move, and I think he fits into Wink's system better than people think.
Fuck, bro. That just reminded me Julian Love's not on the team anymore.
Well, he didn't want to take the deal, too. It came out that, they had a deal on the table. He thought he could get more. And he took less going to Seattle because the Giants pulled the offer off the table. The Giants aren't fucking around. They're pulling. They'll give you the offer, but if you don't want it, you're dragging your feet. That shit comes off the table quick, and that shit's gonna fucking go down in price. So these agents and these players got to start paying attention to that. Yeah. All right, we signed.
That's more of them, bro. If they're going to be here for a long time, now is when you set the foundation for how you're gonna do business.
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to say do the business of football. So if they're going to be if they're going to be fair, which if in the case of Julian Love, if they offered him more money than he ended up taking at one point, then I would say that they're at least negotiating in good faith, which, in other words, fair. But firm, that's where you want to be, because players and agents, they know that that's your reputation. That's how you're going to play ball. That you're going to have a better chance of them shooting you straight and actually being able to work things out, easily and efficiently. And that's what you want.
It seems like the Giants know their value of their players. You know what I mean? That's we haven't really had that in a minute. It looks like we have guys that understand that. This is Jules' favorite signing. A guy from Detroit, cornerback, Amani Arawai.
Yeah. I'm not saying his name, but I love that kid. Like I said, he's literally 2 seasons removed from fucking 11 pass deflections and 6 interceptions. He was a cornerstone in that secondary for Detroit for a while. I'm telling you, man, that kid is going to make noise. And that's another reason why I could see us pulling away from taking a corner in the first round. You know what I mean? And it's opening the door for Robinson a lot, man. And I'm not saying it's going to happen because I do believe he gets taken sooner than pick 25. But if he's sitting there at fucking 25, man, it's going to be hard to pass on him.
Don't forget,
hard, dude.
Jules, don't forget, we got Cordell Flott going into the second year. Maybe they're hiring him to play opposite of Dory. So we got guys, and we got, I think you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, whoever, we got depth on the offensive line too. So I can't see them going to center at 25.
Like I said, I just don't see Linden. I don't see a Lindenbaum type player in this year's draft. Unless I'm missing something, I just don't see it. So therefore, and don't forget, Lindenbaum went late in the first round last year. He was like 18th or 19th or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not like he went, in the top 10 or the top 15 even. He was barely top 20. I don't see that caliber of an inside interior lineman in this year's draft. I think we can get a really solid guy in round 2. There's plenty of names that are out there. We'll talk more about it as we get closer to the draft, and we'll probably talk about it on draft night. But that's just the whole point behind it, where I don't really necessarily feel like that's a priority. And like you said, you still have Belton, right? Belton that'll step up in the safety position for the Giants. The secondary isn't, it's not like, oh, the Eagles, they kept sliding, they got Bradbury. Oh my God, they're ready to go back to the Super Bowl, where it's like, all right, relax, okay? Because I think there's going to be a decline in Eagles this year. And, obviously we'll talk more about that as the season gets closer. But I just can't believe how that's overshadowed a lot of what we've done and the positivity that's going around in this Giants team. where I really feel that we're really putting ourselves in a position to get the best player at number 25, whoever they feel is the most talented, not a need that always seems to be what we have to draft and fill in with. And that's another reason why I think we're going away from interior linemen in this year's draft in the first round, because I just don't see it. Now, look, could we trade back? Could we trade back where someone wants to jump up into 25 at that spot and we go back to like maybe 32, or give up a first round pick altogether, maybe gain 2 second rounds or something? Who knows? That could be a possibility as well. You know what I mean? I can see something like that happen, but we'll see.
I actually like that. I think he's probably our best, free agent signing. If you really look at it, I mean, you want to say,
except for the linebacker, of course. I mean, I love
that
guy.
Yeah, obviously.
And Crowder and Campbell are good depth fucking wide receiver adds to this wide receiver core that's not that strong. So you know what? But yes, I mean, he's up there, man. He's definitely going to be. He's under the radar. I'm not sure how Detroit ended up letting him go, but man, that unless like I said, and we did talk about this a couple weeks ago. Unless this is something we missed, or Detroit's hiding from us, and maybe Detroit thinks that we're like the new suckers since we took Galladay. They're like, take this guy too. Who knows?
But I do. You're right. Like Bobby, Amani, and probably Paris Campbell's probably the 3 guys I'm excited to see play for the Giants that we signed in free agency. And then obviously the trade was for Waller. But yeah, I think those are the top 3 free agent signings, I think.
Without a doubt, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, and look, and the key with Waller is staying healthy. If he stays healthy,
Please.
This is a premier tight end in the NFL. Premier. He's immediately a top 5 tight end, at least the caliber and quality behind it. Right. And whether or not, you look at it from a fantasy perspective or not, sometimes you just can't look at shit that way. Right. But like, he could literally be like that Mark Bavaro style, where he's not catching 80 fucking passes for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, but it's a solid stat line. He's reliable. He's dependable. He blocks. He catches. He can be a threat in the red zone. And then all of a sudden, that opens up the whole rest of the playbook with all these other guys, these veteran wide receivers mixed in with these young guys and mixed in with these guys that we don't know much about. And all of a sudden, you can make that work. You know what I mean? Like, the team that just won the Super Bowl didn't have a real standout wide receiver. Juju Smith had an okay season. He's not even going back with them next year, right? You had Markel Hardman. He's not even back there anymore, right? So, Kansas City's just sort of re-fucking flipping too. They got rid of Tyreek Hill. They won the motherfucking Super Bowl. So, I mean, come on, man. It can be done with that kind of style, but you do need those stud guys. And like I said, you know what? If you can bring in, and I'll keep bringing that bell now with Bijan, and you have him in the backfield with Barkley, and you keep Waller healthy, and you have all these guys around them, look, it's going to be interesting to see what Kafka and Dable can do with that offense.
Definitely got a lot of options. All right, well, I'll wrap this up.
I guess that pretty much wraps it up, man. Yeah, for sure. But listen, we're going to keep giving shout-outs. We're pushing for the 100th episode to be on draft night. All those that are listeners, we'd love to have a couple of you on. We definitely want to have a few people give some shout-outs during that time, because we'll be on from the first pick to the last pick on Thursday night, like we do every single year. So we're going to be promoting the shit out of that. That should be a lot of fun. We always have guests on, especially if we're making for the 100. There should be a lot more guests that'll be joining us throughout that time. And it'll be the first time that we got probably a solid 2 hours before the Giants even pick. So it'll be a lot of talking going on, a lot of shit talking, a lot of drinking, a lot of people coming on. Should be a good time. Make sure you tune into that. But we should definitely be back for next week. We'll give you an update whether or not, because we know we're nearing that 100th episode. So we kind of want to zone in and make it for that. This way we know what it was about. But until then, stay off the haters. All right. Just trust in what's being done, and circle your calendars for that date in April, because that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Until then, be safe. We'll see you. Peace.
Can't wait. Go Giants.